Welcome back, Pupsters, to another episode of the Apple Pub. My name is Raphael.
My name is Emmanuel, and today we're going to be covering all the news surrounding the iPhone 6s media event.
So let's start today's episode off with the Apple TV. Now, we already have... Now, apparently Apple's going to be keeping around the 3rd gen Apple TV for $69 as an entry-level device, and the 4th gen is going to be priced at $149 as, you know, the new device.
Yeah, and their subscription TV service that comes with like around 25 channels, around $40. It's obviously pushed back, but it's also coming to the 3rd gen Apple TV, which is going to be kept at $69. And the new Apple TV is going to have, what, like 16 gigs of storage?
Yeah, 8
maybe,
to 16.
Yeah, so it might have like an upgrade option. So it'll store more apps. I don't think it's going to be storing movies and stuff. You can't store much at all. And it's coming with a new remote that is metal but with a black finish. Two more things I want to mention about the Apple TV. First of all, it's getting a universal Siri functionality, and what that means is, as we mentioned before, there's
I had said, or at least hoped for, when you could just say like, oh, you know, Siri, Netflix, this show, and it would just pop up. But it's a little bit more general, like than that.
Yeah. So basically, as we mentioned, there's a microphone in the remote, and you can, you know, speak into it, obviously, and instead of searching for, like, let's say this show in Netflix, it'll search whatever you search for every channel you have.
For every app.
Yeah, and it'll give you all the results, kind of like it does on the iPhone, where you pull it down and you type.
Yeah, it's that new integration that they're doing with Siri with the app. So it's like when you ask for something like, oh, you know, search this show, it'll pop up with Hulu, with Netflix, with any of your like YouTube, your viewing services. It'll just come up with all the results, so you can just quickly go through it.
Yeah, it's convenient. It's like a one place you could go to search everything, and it kind of ties all the fragmentation together into one interface. So really looking forward to that one. Second thing is that Apple is reportedly getting into producing TV shows.
Yeah, which is a little weird to me, considering this is something like, you know, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon TV. They've been doing this, but it's kind of out of left field for Apple. I don't know why they would just randomly start developing TV shows. So I'm gonna take this rumor a bit with a grain of salt, but I mean, you have your issues for not wanting this to happen. So
and okay, so I want to preface this by saying I'm not one of those people who constantly says to Tim Cook that Steve Jobs wouldn't have done this, because I think Tim Cook has to be Tim Cook and do what he believes in to make it a good company. But based on Apple's history, I do think there are some wise things you should and should not do. One of them is spreading yourself too thin and doing anything and everything you can. Both Tim Cook and Jobs said that there should be 1,000 no's for every one yes they get to in terms of creating a product. And now it seems like it's the reverse. It's like they're doing cars, a bigger iPad, a smaller iPad, and like just everything they could think of, you know, they're doing whatever's possible.
Yeah, they're turning into Google.
I misspoke. The smaller iPad was while Steve signed off on it, but everything else, yeah, they're doing it.
I don't mind the different products and sizes, but I have a thing with like you were saying, the car, you know, all these different weird.
I don't mind the car because that's gadgety to me. A car, but like it's more like I think they should have just made an interface in the car, like they should make an interface for the TV. But it's like if you want to make a car, fine, but going into, I don't know, TV shows, like, I don't know, it's just, I see it as a succession. There's a TV subscription they're working on, and they thought, let's take it a step further and make our own TV shows, but I don't know, they already have so much to work on, so many problems with their software, and even their hardware now, sadly enough. First it was just their software with iOS 7, but now, very recently, we're starting to see problems with their hardware not being able to keep up with Retina displays and having other issues. So history showed us when Steve Jobs left Apple, things went downhill because they spread out to everything and sucked at everything as a result. And now I'm seeing, you know, kind of like the same thing developing. Yeah, and I think
hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. I'm not saying I want this to happen. I'm an Apple fanboy, and I really want things to turn out well for Apple, but I don't know. It just seems like history's repeating itself, and I really hope it isn't.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So we've already spoken about the Intel Skylake processors a bit when it comes to the MacBook, but apparently the full lineup has been released about what to expect with the whole Mac lineup.
Yeah, and it seems likely that only a couple Macs will be updated this event. The iMac 21.5 inch and the Retina MacBook are going to be upgraded most likely.
Yeah.
But it seems like most of the Macs and MacBook Pros will be upgraded early next year instead.
So that might happen at another time.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you want to check out the specs, hit the link down below in our description to read up on that.
And speaking of iMacs, the 21.5 inch iMac is coming out with a 4K display, and it's expected to hit stores in late October. It's pretty cool. The 27 inches got the 5K screen, and the smaller ones got 4K. But
yeah, we had mentioned that it hadn't been upgraded in a while, so it's definitely a good thing. It's just that it's pretty much confirmed that it will be at the show.
Yeah. So there are rumors surrounding the Apple Watch again, and it's said that in this upcoming event we are expecting to hear about a new metal finish for the watch.
Yeah, Ming-Chi Kuo, the really almost always accurate guy who's an analyst who keeps talking about Apple, has expected to be the new rose gold and gold finish for the sport watch.
Yeah, so apparently there's going to be a cheaper version of the expensive models, and I'm assuming it's going to look different somehow.
I think it's just going to be that same aluminum kind of fuzzy finish with just the new colors.
Yeah, and not much in terms of excitement there, but
they also are supposed to be coming out with new colored bands too.
Yeah,
there's that as well.
Yeah, I think the Apple Watch needs more than more finishes at this point. But I would be interested to see more. We need a cheaper gold option. Maybe not sport level. I think the regular watch level would be good. But we do need better hardware, slimmer device, things like that. So while it's nice they're adding all these extra...
the new Galaxy, what is it? The 2.
What about it?
That one's kind of giving Apple a run for its money in terms of style, and it just got released, so I think Apple needs to catch up on that now too.
Yeah, and the race has begun. But they're adding these little things, and they're just little things. I'm looking forward to the next version of the Apple Watch.
So now we get into the two biggest products of the event, which is the iPads and the iPhone 6s.
So yeah, the iPad Pro they're actually working on a new keyboard, I should say. And this is different from the keyboard they were working on earlier, where they're upgrading the
iMac keyboard.
Yeah, with rechargeable batteries and Bluetooth 4.2. This is, I think it's going to be specifically designed for the iPad Pro. And there's not much details in terms of what features this keyboard has.
Just that the iPad Pro is coming with upgraded support for Bluetooth keyboards.
Yeah, and there is a slight chance that these two might be the same. I could see that happening, but we don't really see eye to eye.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more something like to compete with the Surface's keyboard.
Yeah, I hope it's not, because I hate the Surface's keyboard. And I hope they actually have a keyboard.
I mean, they did come up with the new butterfly design on the MacBook, so I think it might be, similar to one of those clicky types.
I just don't like those fabric keyboards that don't click, Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens. But there is a stylus in the works and the keyboard in the works for this iPad Pro.
If you haven't noticed, we're both very firm believers that the iPad Pro is actually going to be announced at the show. Some people are kind of against it, but we actually think it's going to... There's enough news out there that I think it's a
thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that might cast doubt for me is that there are no leaked parts like ramping up more and more, but there have already been leaked parts in the past, and I'm not really doubting it at this point.
The iPad Mini 4 is also going to be announced at the show as well, and I assume that the iPad Air 3 will possibly be announced as well, but as you had stated...
I think the iPad Air 3 is not going to be announced. If it is, I don't think it's going to be a real upgrade. I think it's going to be kind of like how the iPad Mini got for the 3. They didn't get it just got a new coat of paint and they called it new. But I think there'll be too much cannibalization if there's a small, medium, and large, but I think it'll push people to one or the other if there's a small and then a ginormous iPad and nothing in the middle.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the line of, I think that it's going to be all three just because they'll have that small, medium, large to compete with all those other tablets to be able to push themselves back into the marketplace.
Yeah, either way, but I'm just glad that they're updating the iPad Mini because it hasn't gotten love. It's been very behind. Last time it got updated, it wasn't even brought to current technology. It got last year's chipsets.
Well, technically that's what's happening too. It's getting the iPad Air 2.
True, but I don't know. At least this time it seems like it's a more substantial update. It's not. I don't know. It's not been updated in a while. I don't think it got updated last year. Did it?
I don't think so. I mean, again, it was just the smaller size.
It's just been, I don't know, they haven't been giving it love. It's like their redheaded stepchild, and they need to do something with it, and I'm glad they finally are getting back to the iPad mini. There were rumors they were gonna cut it off entirely, but I'm really glad those weren't true. Okay, so
The creme de la creme.
yeah, the iPhone 6s is finally
Gonna be dropped this Wednesday, and we do have.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're finishing my sentences because I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be dropped, and it's gonna be starting at 16 gigabytes again.
Which,
Unfortunately.
yeah, I kind of assume that might happen because I think the 32 would like you were saying, it's going to cannibalize too much into the 64 and the 128. I just feel like if you had 32 gigabyte option, no one's going to buy the 64.
If you talked to me a couple of years ago, I would have been, oh, Apple, yeah, like, but I don't know. Lately, I've been less and less enthusiastic because of the stuff they're doing. Seems more like they're running it like a business rather than running it like we want the best product possible and the money will come after that, and money's an afterthought. Now it's like, we're gonna manipulate things and make you pay more money for something that's actually good. And if you don't, you're gonna get something that's not even decent anymore. So, but yeah, like 16 gigabytes entry level. I want to focus on the features. I'm done ranting.
And are really cool. Yeah, it is. Someone put the backplate and the display together to find out that it was 0.2 millimeters thicker. I really don't think that it's going to cause any issues with cases, but apparently Spigen still did announce that they came out with a slightly larger case to fit the device into.
And I don't mind that. I don't mind if Apple needs to make their devices a little thicker this time around, especially for all the features they're packing in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be really noticeable. But there was another thing with the front-facing cameras and a few announcements with that.
Yeah, Ming-Chi Kuo, again, this guy's like on a streak.
By the way, we only give you like the reliable rumors, but if there's a faulty one, we tell you this is a crappy
with a grain of salt, yeah.
Yeah.
Digitize.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's expected to be coming with the 5 megapixel front-facing camera along with the 12 megapixel back camera.
The back camera is always going to be the stronger one, but it feels like they're actually focusing a lot more on the front-facing camera for once. Mm-hmm. I think it's this culture of, selfies, but also just people wanting to take pictures, with someone, when they're going somewhere. It's just
and you want it to be high
convenient.
quality. You want to be able to print that out if you choose to.
Yeah, and there's also the additional features like stuff with the software, like when you're taking a picture with the front-facing camera, the display will light up in low light scenarios.
Like photo booth.
Yeah, and just kind of make it a little more
kind of like a flash.
lit up. Yeah, like a flash that's not as harsh. So they're focusing on that a lot. And what else is there? I mean,
obviously everyone already knows it's coming with the 7000 series aluminum, the upgraded cameras, the Force Touch screen.
Yeah.
This is a really big update for an S update.
Yeah, for an S update, the fact that it's getting 7000 series aluminum and the Force Touch, that in and of itself is enough for me. But the faster chip and all this other stuff.
Oh, and also the fact that it's coming with the rose gold option as well as the upgraded Force Touch.
That I don't care about. But yeah, no, the Force Touch is amazing. I think it's going to be pretty cool. And I think it's going to make most sense on the iPhone than on any other device they've done it on, apart from the Apple Watch.
And the iPads.
Yeah. The Macs it was the only place where I kind of thought like, it's just...
Yeah. I mean, that mouse, your touchpad is already functional enough. There's a whole bunch of multi-finger stuff that you can do. Like, I didn't think it was really necessary. But.
Yeah, but I love that about S upgrades. Apple tends to add these little things that when you start looking at them as a whole, it's like, wow, I might actually want to buy this thing. Never actually done it, but it's just interesting because anything in and of itself, it just doesn't seem compelling enough. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I'm really looking forward to the upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. I mean, I'm still holding off on possibly switching back when the 7 comes out because I really don't like the design of these current model iPhones.
He's getting his first iPhone.
Not my first. I had the 4.
His first iPhone.
But yeah. So anyway, that's what to expect during the event this coming Wednesday. Eman actually won't be able to make the show for that day to make because he's working that day, couldn't take the day off. But I will be there to update you guys on what happens and what's announced. So do keep in touch to find out what's going on with there.
Before you end the show, there's one more thing I want to mention. Next week, even though I'm not going to be able to cover the event with Ralph, we are going to be giving our opinions on what happened a few days after the event for our regular Apple Pub episode. Mm-hmm. So do look forward to that. We're going to have time to digest everything and really think about what was announced and what it meant for Apple in the
What we
future.
want to expect in the iPhone 7.
Exactly. We're already going to start thinking about that. And that pretty much sums it up, guys. Just want to let you know about that. As usual, my name's Ralph.
And my name's Emmanuel, apparently. Yeah, if you like the show, please subscribe to support us. Like the video as always.
I need sleep, and take care,
You
guys.
always need sleep.
No question of the day because I need to go home and go to bed.
Yeah. So we'll catch you guys next time.
Stay classy, San Diego.
See ya.